Welcome back in a new session of history. Yes, hi students. In the previous lessons of history, we studied the information about the struggle of Marathas against the Mughal Empire. Till the end of Aurangzeb, Maratha continued battle against him. Today, we are going to start a new lesson of history. That is lesson number 10, the expansion of the Maratha power. In this lesson, we will learn some information about the Marathas and Mughal after the death of Aurangzeb. Here, in the 8th lesson into the 7th lesson, we took information about the battles of Maratha and Mughal after the death of Shivaji Maharaj. But in this lesson, we are going to learn some information about the battles after the death of Aurangzeb. Now, when the Aurangzeb died, how the condition was there, their information we will learn in this lesson. Let's start the lesson. At the beginning of Maratha War of Independence, what happened? The Mughal were there in a strong position. Aurangzeb was one of the important king. He have a strong army. So Aurangzeb entered into the south with a great force, and the Marathas started the battle against them, and they continued this struggle for a long period of time. But what happened in this? The Mughal were strong and the Marathas were weak. Due to this, Mughal were there in a offensive or in a attacking mode, whereas the were there in a defensive mode. Okay, but what happened? The time passed, a lot of years were there, near about 27 years battle continued, and the important king Aurangzeb died. After that, the situation changed. Whatever, the were there now in a defensive mode, and Marathas become the strong one after the death of Aurangzeb. So Marathas were there in a offensive mode or in a attacking mode. Understood this one? The reverse conditions are there. First, Mughals ahead, they are in offensive mode, and Marathas were there in defensive. But at the end, Mughal were there in a defensive one, and the Marathas were there in offensive or in a attacking mode. Understood this? Now, what happened? How the conditions are there? Their information we will learn. Release of Shahu. Do you know who is Shahu? The Prince Shahu was the son of Sambhaji Maharaj. That we learn. He was arrested from a Raigad fort. And what happened to him? Their information we will learn now. As the Aurangzeb died, the struggle or the conflict started in the son of Aurangzeb. Okay, everyone want to become a king of Delhi. The son of Aurangzeb, Prince Azam Shah, was in a south. That time he was in a south, and he want to become a king of Delhi. So he decided to stop the battle against the Maratha, and he want to return in a Delhi. That time Shahu was there in the arrest of Azam Shah, and he made a plan. Azam Shah was very clever, and he thought that if he released the Shahu, then there would be a arose or conflict between Maharani Tarabai and Prince Shahu for the Gaddi or throne of Swaraj. So Azam Shah felt that it will sap or reduce the strength of Maratha power. So he released the Shahu Maharaj and returned to Delhi. Question will be asked on the given portion to you. Why Azam Shah released Prince Shahu? Hmm? What do you think? Why he released? He think if he release the Shahu, will come into the Swaraj, and he filed with the Tarabai for the Gaddi of Swaraj. And due to the conflict in between Tarabai and Shahu Maharaj, whatever the strength, power is there of Maratha Empire, it reduced. That's why Azam Shah released the Shahu Maharaj. Okay, then what happened? That we will learn. Whatever thought by Azam Shah, it come in reality. As the Shahu Maharaj returned, released from Azam Shah, he returned in a Swaraj. Yes, as soon as he released him, he come into the Swaraj. As he entered in the Swaraj, many Sardars meet to him and they join hands with the Shahu Maharaj. And Shahu claimed for the throne of Maratha Empire. What the Shahu did? He said, I want to become a king of Maratha Empire. But Maharani Tarabai refused it. Maharani Tarabai did not accept his claim on the throne of Swaraj. She said, continuously, I was fighting against Aurangzeb. Now my son will become the king of the Maratha Empire. So the conflict or battle arose in between Maharani Tarabai and Prince Shahu. Okay, here, Maharani Tarabai and the army of Maharani Tarabai and the army of Shahu Maharaj started a battle. Where this battle started? This battle was started on a khed, on the bank of a river Bhima. Yes, near about the Bhima river, Khed was a place. On that place, the battle between Prince Shahu's army and the Maharani Tarabai's army occurred. And in this battle, Shahu Maharaj won. Yes, who won this battle? Prince Shahu won this battle. And he coronated himself as a king of Satara. What he did after this winning the battle, he coronated himself as a king of the Satara kingdom. But Maharani Tarabai was not ready to accept this. Then what she did? As the Shahu coronated himself, on the other hand, Maharani Tarabai was not ready to accept this. Shahu as a king of the Maratha Empire. So she proclaimed or she coronated her minor son, small son, Shivaji II, as a king of Kolhapur Gaddi. Now, where it is that coronation occurred on the Panhala fort. Now, the Maratha Empire is divided into the two parts. One is the Kolhapur and the second one is Satara. Okay, understood this? The Mughal oppositions between Shahu and Tarabai continued. Whatever the Mughal want, these empires should be divided into the two parts. It oppose each other. That thing come into the reality. Whatever the conflicts are there in between Kolhapur and Satara empire, it continued for a long period. Due to these conflicts, the Maratha Empire totally divided into the two parts, Kolhapur and Satara. Kolhapur region was under the leadership of Maharani Tarabai and the Satara region was under the control of Shahu Maharaj. Understood this one? Due to the conflict between Maharani Tarabai and the Shahu Maharaj, the Maratha Empire or Swaraj was divided into the two parts, one of Kolhapur and one of Satara. Okay. Now we will learn some politics of Shahu Maharaj. What are the policies of him? What he did when he was become a king of the empire? Now Let's learn this one. The early part of the Shahu Maharaj's life was spent in a Mughal camp. So he had seen a Mughal politics from a close quarter. What he did? First, he was arrested by the Mughals and he spent some time in their camps. So he knew that things. He knew the strengths and the weaknesses of the Mughal Empire very well. All these factors help him to make a new policy to give a new direction to the Marathas empire. Yes, he used these things against the Mughal empire. Aurangzeb adopted a policy of destroying the Maratha empire, but the Maratha adopt a new policy against the Mughal. What they did? Instead of fighting with the Mughals, after the death of Aurangzeb, Maratha decided to protect the Mughals. Sir, what you are saying? Mughals are our enemies. Mughals are the enemies of Swaraj. Then why the Shahu decided to help them, to protect them? Now, what are the conditions that time? How was the king and who are the leaders from the Mughal Empire? Why the Shahu decided to protect the Mughal Empire? Hmm? Is it correct or not? Their information we will learn. What happened after the death of Aurangzeb? Mughal Empire became the weak one. Okay. Now some foreign powers are there like the Afghan and Iran. They started the invasion. They started the attack on the Mughal Empire. Some local rulers are there like Rajput, Jat, Pathans and Rohillas. They also started a revolt against the Mughal. All these powers want to become the king of Delhi. What they want? They want the Delhi's throne. And at the same time, the son of Aurangzeb also started the conflict in between them to get the Delhi's throne. And due to this, everywhere confusion was there. If Marathas started to win the areas of Mughal, what will happen? Hmm? All these enemies attack on Maratha because they also want to conquer the area of Mughal. So, what the Maratha did? They started to protect the Mughal. What they started? Shahu Maharaj started to protect the Mughal. Now, what he believed, why he did this one? The Shahu Maharaj believed that restoring an old temple is as good as building a new one. Means it was very hard to establish a new Maratha empire into the Mughal territories. Instead of that, favorable Mughal king keep constant on the Mughal gaddi and work from him. Whatever the work or whatever the benefits are there, take from him. It is the policy of Shahu Maharaj. So, Shahu Maharaj decided to protect the Mughals. Understood this one? What was the policy? If we attack on the Mughal, many other enemies come together and they start to fight with the Marathas. And it was very hard to defeat that all enemies. So, whatever the kings are there, favorable kings are there of Maratha Empire, they keep constant that king on their rule and they took some benefit from that king. It is the policy started by the Shahu Maharaj. Okay. Now, what he did after that? He appoints some person, and their information is very important. The Balaji Vishwanath. Okay. Who was he? Their information we will learn. When the Shahu Maharaj released by the Mughal Empire, he come into the Swaraj. As he come into the Swaraj, he made Balaji Vishwanath as a Peshwa. You listen this word Peshwa before? Yes, you. I think you seen the movie of Bajirao Mastani. In that one, you listen Peshwa Bajirao. Then what is mean by Peshwa? Peshwa means one post hmm, into the army or into the court of the king. That started by the Shahu Maharaj. Peshwa means Senapati or the head of all department. Who was appointed as a first Peshwa? Balaji Vishwanath was appointed as a first Peshwa by the Shahu Maharaj. And Srivardhan in the Konkan was the native place of the Balaji Vishwanath. Why he was appointed as a Peshwa? Because he was well experienced, clever, and brave. Due to the cleverly of the Balaji Vishwanath, many Sardar joined hands with the Shahu's side instead of Maharani Tarabai. One incident given to you in the textbook, what happened? Kanoji Angre was the chief of Maratha Navy, and what he did, he joined hands with Maharani Tarabai. Yes, he took a side of Maharani Tarabai and he attacked on a Shahu's army. Kanoji Angre was very brave, clever, intelligent, experienced one, and he attacked on Shahu. It was very difficult situation for the Shahu Maharaj. So he sent his experienced and the clever Sardar or Peshwa Balaji Vishwanath to fight with the Kanoji Angre. Now, when Peshwa come in front of the Kanoji, he did not fight with Kanoji. Then what he did? He spoke with him. He convinced Kanoji that how the Shahu Maharaj was correct, how the Shahu Maharaj was able to become the king of Maratha Empire. And due to these things, Kanoji Angre refused to take a side of Maharani Tarabai and he joined hands with the Shahu Maharaj. Understood this one? What he did, he convinced Kanoji to join hands with the Shahu Maharaj. It shows a cleverness of Balaji. He avoid a war and get a new powerful friend from the Shahu's side. So he have one important place into the court of the Shahu Maharaj. Again, some policies started by the Shahu Maharaj and Peshwa. Their information we will learn. The next thing is there Sar Deshmukhi and Chauthai. What it is? The two different concepts are there. Okay. After strengthening the position of Shahu into the south, Balaji Vishwanath focused on the North India. Yes, he turned his attention towards the politics of North. Now, after the death of Aurangzeb into the north, there was a lot of confusion into the different rulers. That time, the conflicts were there in between son of Aurangzeb, and the two brothers become very powerful. They are known as Sayyid brothers, Abdullah and Hussein Ali. These are two Sayyid brothers. They became a very powerful into the North India. Balaji Vishwanath kept a friendly relations with the Sayyid brothers, and with the help of these Sayyid brothers, Balaji Vishwanath obtained a grant of Sardeshmukhi and Chauthai of the Mughal territories in a south from the empire. Whatever the Mughal empire is there, from them they get some grant for Sir Deshmukhi and Chauthai into the south with the help of these Sayyid brothers. Then what is Sir Deshmukhi and what is Chauthai? Let's learn this. Sir Deshmukhi means 1/10 part of revenue. And how we have to collect that? Sardeshmukhi means 1/10 part of revenue. Consider Mughal get 100 rupees tax from a particular area. Now the Maratha got to collect the Sardeshmukhi from their area, means 1/10 part of revenue. What is the 1/10 part of 100 rupees? 1/10 part of 100 is 10 rupees. Means Maratha got that grant to collect the 10 rupees from the Maratha Empire. Okay, from the enemy's territory, whatever the Mughal Empire collects some tax, from that they take the 10%. If Mughal collect the tax from that area 10 crores, then the Maratha got 1 crore automatically because they got that grant to collect the Sardeshmukhi. Okay, now the second one is there, Chauthai. Chauthai means 1/4 part of revenue from the enemy's territory or from the Mughals territory. What is the 1/4 part? If Mughal got 1 crore rupees tax from a particular area, then the 1/4 part means 25% the Maratha will get, means 25 lakh got to the Maratha due to this grant. Understood this? From this Sardeshmukhi and Chauthai, Maratha got a certain amount of money from the enemy's area. Okay, no need to do the work for that particular area. We have to keep a friendly relation with the Mughals, and if sometimes Mughal needed a help, then the Maratha have to provide some help to the Mughal Empire, and instead of that or for this thing they will get the certain amount of money from the Mughal Empire. So it was a benefit for the Maratha Empire to collect the money from that Sardeshmukhi and Chauthai. That's why Balaji Vishwanath used this policy to collect the Sardeshmukhi and Chauthai from the Mughal territory. Understood this one? Okay. Read this lesson or read this part, whatever I taught to you today, carefully and underline the important lines or important things. Okay. Remaining part we will learn in a next lesson, in a next period. Thank you.